as an accused, but as a victim. So I might have to jump back and forth between that. But if you need a quorum, this will take precedent.
At the present, we have 3 members here, which is a quorum. And he's on his way. Okay, and Councillor Nyman's here as well. So it looks like we've got quorum. Of course, we'll hate to lose you, but...
Just in case the judge has any questions for me about, that situation, I might have to jump in there.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this special shareholder meeting of the Corporation of the County Prince Edward County Affordable Housing Corporation. I believe all of our members are here in attendance, including the shareholder. So I will call the meeting to order. I do need this meeting is being live streamed, recorded, and available on the internet by visiting the county's website at www.thecounty.ca. This meeting will be conducted as a hybrid meeting with in-person and virtual electronic participation in accordance with the county's procedural bylaw. So I'll start with item 2.1. I need a motion to confirm the agenda. Could I have a mover and seconder, please? Okay, Councillor Nyman and Councillor McNaughton, if you could read that, please, sir. I will read it for you. That the agenda for the special Prince Edward County Affordable Housing Corporation shareholder meeting of November the 10th, 2025 be confirmed. All in favor? That's carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Does anyone have anything they wish to declare? Seeing none, I don't believe we have any announcements unless there's something. No? Okay. There are no registered comments from the audience, and I don't believe there's anyone online. Nobody in the room, so we will move on to items for consideration, which is 6.1, the audited financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2024. I will ask for the motion afterwards, but today we have Katie McMahon. Can you hear me, Katie?
I can. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. So I will pass the microphone over to you, Katie, and you can take it from here.
Great. And thank you, Mr. Chair, and to the board for having me here today to present the fiscal 2024 financial statements. I will just take a quick pause and see if I have the option, which it looks like I do, to share my screen to have the financial statements up. I'll just have a quick check with the group. Would that be preferred for me to share the statements as we walk through them?
Sure. Go ahead if you want to. If not, I think, Ben, if you're having difficulty, Ben can do that for us as well, the clerk.
All right. I think it's up there.
Yes.
I think I can see it on the screen there. So I'll get started. So again, thank you to everyone for having me here today to present the statements. Realizing it is November, it's a little bit later in the year than typical, but we were able to complete the audit in June of this year, wrapped it up in July, and then we're really just pending this final meeting for the approval to be able to close everything off. I will walk through the statements at a high level, going through some of our audit highlights and required audit communications as we go through, and then we'll have some time at the end for any questions. So opening the financial statements, it does start with our independent auditor's report. So this is our contribution to your financial statements. It is lengthy. It is about 3 pages in total, but that is what a clean audit opinion in Canada looks like these days. So that first paragraph that's up here, the opinion paragraph, that is where we state we are opining that the financial statements do present fairly in all material respects, the financial position, operations, cash flows for the 2024 fiscal year then ended. One of the important items within that sentence is in all material respects. So we do complete the audit to a level of materiality. Materiality is set based on some guidelines that the Canadian auditing standards provide to us. So we had set materiality at 7,000 for the year. 7,000, not an overly large number, but it is calculated as a percentage of the overall operations and assets of the corporation organization here. So with a little bit less activity, we have a bit of a smaller materiality figure that goes with it. Happy to say though, from the audit required communications perspective, I'll just speak to this as I open up to the first page of the statements. Audit requirement communication. So in terms of the audit, we went through the audit. We don't have any corrected or uncorrected entries to note. That's a great testament to the books and records that the team were able to keep throughout the year and to be able to provide to us along with the working papers as part of the audit. No disagreements with management, no accounting policy differences. There were some adoptions of new standards that came in this year, but they're required for all entities under your accounting framework. So certainly nothing unique or different to your organization than what we would see elsewhere in the industry and in the sector. So very kind of run-of-the-mill year in terms of those standard adoptions. And then moving on to the actual numbers themselves. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger actually. I have the statement of financial position up on the screen. So starting with the financial assets at the top and then the financial liabilities, you can see it is the organization, the corporation is in a net debt position. What that means is that the financial liabilities are larger than the financial assets. The financial assets, very straightforward, are comprised of just the cash in the bank account as well as some accounts receivable. The accounts receivable is an HST receivable. So in terms of collection there, a pretty reliable collection source. So nothing that was flagged on our end in terms of collection risk. We did provide to management 3 what we call kind of process improvement points or other observations. One of the items that we had flagged it in last year's audit as well in regards to that HST receivable is just around the communications with CRA to get those funds back. So with the turnover in some of the positions, there had been some difficulty in getting an improved person to be able to put in the remittances to be able to collect those funds. The finance team is currently working on it and I think expects to receive it in the upcoming months, if not later this quarter, beginning of calendar 2026. The other item we had flagged, we'll see on the next page, was just around budgeting. So the reporting standards do require that a budget be contemplated in advance of the fiscal year. So we had noted that in previous years. We noted it again this year. And then the third and final observation we had noted was just around the overall financial sustainability and the future of the organization. As you can see here, we do have the net debt position where those liabilities exceed those financial assets. And then what we'll see on the next page as well, the expenses in excess of the revenues coming in. So we'll circle back to that in a second. We'll just kind of wrap up this page here, which then is the bottom section, the non-financial assets. So the non-financial assets are where the cash or the payment's already been outlaid. You're just waiting to receive those benefits either through the prepaid expenses being realized or the capital assets being amortized into your income statement or your statement of operations. Overall, ending with the accumulated surplus of that $739,000. So then flipping to this next page, the statement of operations. So you can see here, this is where we see the budget column and the zeros underneath it. So that was the one item we had flagged, as I mentioned. And then the other item is from a revenue perspective. The only revenue that was realized during the year was the interest on the bank account. And then there were some expenses incurred during the year, around 25,000 or so. So you can see there was a deficit incurred in the year of about 5,000. And you can see for the prior year a deficit in the prior year as well. So again, I know this board and this group has had some conversation about the future of the corporation, so I won't go into it too much, but from an accounting standards perspective, we do have to look at least for a 12-month period to be able to satisfy ourselves that the corporation and operations will continue to run for a 12-month period. Given we're in November, we've kind of satisfied that requirement, noting we only have a little bit left until fiscal 2025, but it will be something we continue to monitor and ensure the financial statements have the appropriate disclosure going into any future fiscal year. Aside from that, the statements are pretty straightforward. So we have the statement of changes in net debt, which just shows you how you get to the balance there we saw on the statement of financial position. And then you have the statement of cash flows, which shows you where your cash is being either generated or utilized. And then we're into the notes, which again, the notes have not substantially changed from the prior year, with the exception of the one note around the new standards. So I won't go through them in detail. However, the one I did just want to highlight is note 7, which is contingent liabilities. Starts here on page 9 with the first section, and then page 10 has the second section. And so the main takeaway I wanted to highlight from this note is that with the government grants that had come in for the 2 properties, Wellington and Disraeli, in previous years, there was a portion that was a loan payable, and then there was a portion that was a forgivable grant. So the loan payable that was incurred for Wellington, that is on the statements, but then the forgivable grant, the money was spent, that revenue has been recognized in previous years. The agreement does state that pending any future developments with the property, there is a chance those funds could be recovered. So we've flagged here, what this note is really saying is at this point in time, we have not set up that there'll be any repayment. We did have debt confirmation directly with CMHC. They have not flagged that any of those events have been triggered, but do just like to highlight that depending where the project goes, that is something that might have to be contemplated in future audits. And then the second part of the note is the same language, same wording, but in relation to the other property at Disraeli. So a little bit different. There was no loan payable for this property because the amount was not spent, but there was about 60,000 or so of the forgivable grant that was spent with that revenue source recognized. So same situation, depending on where that goes in the future, we might have to recontemplate whether or not there will be any repayable from that grant in a future year. But based on the audit documentation and evidence, we communicated with CMHC for this fiscal year, leaving it with no liability set up, and a note in the statements just to flag to keep an eye on it for future. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen just so I can see everyone again, and I'll open up to see if there's any questions either on the financial statements or on the audit itself.
Do any members of the committee have any questions for Katie? Does the sole shareholder have any questions for Katie? Okay, no, it doesn't appear that anyone has any questions for you, Katie. I think it's fairly straightforward. There has not been a lot of business, so.
Yeah, I can say it's certainly one of the more straightforward audits that we complete.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I thank you very much, Katie. I guess we'll move on from here to a motion to receive the audited financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2024 be received. If I could get a mover and seconder, please. Councillor McNaughton and Councillor Hirsch. Any further discussions on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried.
Yeah.
Now,
Mr. Chair, I think it's the shareholder that votes on this one.
oh, the shareholder only on this motion. Okay, yes. then I will ask, are you, as the shareholder, are you in, you concur with the motion to receive? Okay. All right, then I will call that carried. It's a little confusing, I know, but okay.
Right. Well, I'll leave you for the rest of your meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Katie. We'll see you next year, I guess. Okay, so next on the agenda is 6.2 regarding corporate bylaw number 5. Before I ask for a motion to approve, I guess we need a little background and update.
Thank you. Through the chair, this bylaw, corporate bylaw number 5, replaces corporate number 4, which we approved last month. When it was brought to council, Councillor Pennell wanted to amend the bylaw, so it said under 1E that up to 2 members of the municipal council for Prince Edward County shall, and as opposed to may, be appointed as director to the corporation's board. So that's the only change in the bylaw that came forward as a result of that. So that's why the bylaw is in front of you again now.
Okay. And does this bylaw now have to go back to council for approval?
My understanding is it shouldn't.
Okay.
It technically didn't require the council's approval then, but that was the advice that we received, so that's why the change was made.
Okay. Any questions with regards to Councillor McNaughton?
Thanks. Nothing other than just, the minutes will go forward, but is it something that you would be comfortable just notifying council that the change was made via email so that it's, they're notified just outside of the minutes, just in case they don't read the minutes?
Through the chair, yes. I'm not quite sure how we would do that. I mean, it would certainly come up under
It
the
would just
consent
be
part of the
sending an
agenda, but just an email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, I mean, perhaps Phil could do it just as a matter of an FYI.
Yeah,
Might be
yeah,
easy.
I can
Yeah.
accept doing that.
Perhaps through the sole shareholder's office.
Or co-sign. Yes.
Absolutely, but it's good to just, put a highlight on something.
Yeah, given that there was a specific request, and I guess that's acknowledging that that request was put forward and, well, hopefully approved, because we haven't got there yet. Okay, any further questions on bylaw number 5? No? Okay, then I'm going to turn it over to the single shareholder and ask the question, are you in agreement, sir, and that the corporate bylaw 5 be approved?
Mr. Chair, it's not on the floor yet. Could we get a mover?
So, okay, this is where I'm getting
I know, so
confused. This is not exactly straightforward. So I need a mover and seconder from the committee. Okay, Councillor McNaughton, Councillor Nyman. Who gets to vote on this?
It's the shareholder.
The shareholder. Okay, all right. I want to make sure everything is done properly. All right, so we'll ask the shareholder. Do you concur with the motion as it is on the floor?
So approved.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
You can't get to 60% of you.
All right, so next meeting to be confirmed, a special meeting of the shareholder. So now I need a motion to adjourn. Mover and seconder to adjourn the meeting at 1:18. Councillor Nyman, Councillor McNaughton, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. So this meeting is now adjourned. Shareholder meeting, and shareholders shall move on. Okay, now this will be much more straightforward. So I will call the meeting of the regular monthly meeting of the Prince Edward County Affordable Housing Corporation to order. This meeting is being live streamed, recorded, and available on the internet by visiting county's website at www.thecounty.ca. This meeting will be conducted as a hybrid meeting with in-person and virtual electronic participation in accordance with the county's procedural bylaw. So I need a motion to confirm the agenda, please. Mover and seconder, Councillor McNaughton, Councillor Grasso, that the agenda for the Prince Edward County Affordable Housing Corporation Board meeting of November 10th, 2025 be confirmed. All in favor? That's carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Does anyone have anything they wish to declare? Seeing none, we're moving on to minutes of the previous meeting. So I need a mover and seconder for 4.1. Councillor McNaughton, Councillor Nyman. Any questions with regards to that set of minutes? No? All in favor then? That's carried. Minutes of the special Prince Edward County Affordable Housing Corporation Board meeting held October 27th. So I need a mover and seconder to receive those minutes. Councillor McNaughton, Councillor Nyman. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. There are no announcements. There are no comments from the audience. So we'll move right along to items for consideration. 7.1, Prince Edward County Affordable 2026 Prince Edward County Affordable Housing Corporation preliminary draft budget. I'll throw that over to staff, and then I'll ask for a motion to approve the draft budget.
Through the chair, attached the second time around is a very preliminary, I guess, for lack of a better term, pre-development budget with just the bare bones expenses that we can expect at this stage, which total $40,000, $41,000 in expenses. I was able to determine that we do have $537,598 in assets, which I just found out. So the question is how we use those against the deficit we have of 26,000. I just had that information, so I apologize. I don't have a report to go with this but my recommendation would be to perhaps defer this to the December meeting, at which time I can present some financial options, because we have two accounts plus a treasury account. Adam, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Mr. Chair, I think so we just saw the audit statement. We do have cash, and I think that's something that is something that we should reinforce, because I think there's been a bit of a narrative out in the public that we are not as liquid as we could be. We have assets, we have cash. So I think Ellis's point is how do we pay for our operating costs, which again are related to regular corporate operating costs like insurance, the audit, memberships, some minor costs like that. Is how do we cover those off, or how do we plan to cover those off in 2026? I think that perhaps could be a direction that's given to staff to come back with a plan as to how to bankroll that. I think that the budget being put before you can sit by itself if the board wishes to approve it, and then we can come back with a plan for 2026. I just want to point out that the site development costs should be rolled into the ultimate loans for those sites. So we are talking about just the corporate expenses proposed for 2026.
Councillor Nyman and then Councillor McNaughton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I just have a question. I know we talked about this before, but the fence rental, I believe, is for the Wellington site, which is $10,000. And I guess, I know it came back that it's a liability if we don't have the fence. But that's a lot of money, and I guess, do we really need it? So.
I was thinking that as well as I saw this budget. that's money that's not, it's just going out the window. So perhaps you can leave that with me to check with some competent environmental advice. I'm sure we'd have to protect the wells. I think that was the big concern that they outlined for us, was that there's a bit of a security risk allowing access to those monitoring wells. They should be locked with a key, and if we were to open it up, we may have to be concerned about the safety of them from a collision, sort of perspective, which we may be able to mitigate with some concrete blocks or some well tiles and that sort of thing. So if you would leave it with me, I can confirm that, and we can see whether we do have any other options there that might be available to us, up to and including generating revenue from parking in the summertime. Oh, I didn't say that, sorry, I apologize. But if you can leave that with me, that does bother me as well at the cost of it. I mean, it's not massively significant, but in the context of in the context of this budget, it actually makes up a large proportion of our annual expenses.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you.
Councillor McNaughton and then Councillor Hirsch.
Thank you. The one thing I'm thinking about right now, I feel like it's a little bit too early to be saying, to put a pin on it and I like the idea about coming back in December with a bit more clarity. So I would be very happy to put a deferral motion on after the discussion if other people are also inclined in that direction. The other thing I would want to consider is I don't see anything, the new members are going to require some investment, and that's not, I don't see that accounted for yet, whether that's a retreat or whether that is a couple of days, even, just the meager expenses that it could be if it's in the meeting room next door. I'm just wondering what needs to be accommodated here before that moves forward.
As far as orientation is where you're going. Yeah, okay.
Through the chair, that's a good point. Yes.
Thank you.
I think we definitely want to do do the best job we can onboarding new board members, so that so point well taken. Councillor Hirsch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 2 points. Back to the fencing. And it's nice that we have the CEO with us, who also knows all about operations. Does the county own any similar fencing?
No, Mr. Chair, through you, I don't believe we do, no,
Everybody rents.
pretty much.
Is there no advantage to acquiring fencing to be used for different purposes at different times? I don't know. I don't know what the stuff costs, but the rental business is quite lucrative, I'm sure.
Correct. Well, I mean, through you, Mr. Chair, I mean, we could look at T-posts and snow fence sort of situation. I mean, it's a little less aesthetic. But then if, depending on what the consultant says, we have to block the site off, we may want to look at something simpler, maybe. Maybe even concrete blocks as well as an exclusion measure. But something we don't have to rent would be great.
Yeah, okay. Second question is, and I had mentioned this a couple of meetings ago, the cost of the audit, which Katie admitted was pretty straightforward, I think she said. One of her more straightforward audits, $11,000, and we should all become accountants then, because that sounds like a better business. Is there any way to address that? I mean, I guess they quote us annually on what they're going to charge us, all the county entities together.
Mr. Chair, I'm actually not certain how we come by this one particular auditor. It seems to be the same as the county uses.
Yeah.
So it may be piggybacking on theirs, but nothing to say that we couldn't do our own RFP for this and get another. Maybe if you can leave that with us, we'll talk to Aaron and the Treasury and just figure a little bit more about what it entails. And now that we know that it's almost half of our annual operating expenses are the audit.
It's the single largest item according to this. And just on a hopeful note, one hopes that our financial situation is going to get considerably more complicated as we actually get projects going, and that might justify this kind of cost. But I mean, for the past year, with virtually nothing other than holding these meetings happening, it just seems a bit absurd.
I think we all agree. And yeah, with regards to the fencing, the number per panel escapes me right now, but $10,000 would not even come close to touching what's necessary on a property that size. It's been a while since I've personally rented them, but yeah, rent is the option because of the initial outlay to purchase is quite high. They are all steel, so steel's not cheap anymore. But definitely, yeah, I'd really like to see something different. Now, once, I'm going to say positively, once the property begins to be developed, that should be a responsibility of the contractor and not us, which should maybe alleviate some of the financial pressure on our budget. Councillor Nyman?
Thank you. So just one question on the bookkeeping. So we have a bookkeeper, or is that something that we're paying the county?
And through the chair, that's just for the software platform. Because the Housing Corporation started off as an independent corporation, the books have been maintained through Intuit, excuse me, the online bookkeeping platform. So I would have to inquire as to whether the county wanted to take that internally to remove that cost. But right now, it's a separate, independent bookkeeping system.
So then we're looking after our own books. The financial department are not looking or assisting us with that or doing it for us?
Through the chair, they are doing it, but with this independent system. So that's what we would have to find out, whether they'd be able to import it internally. So the finance department is doing it, just not with the internal town suite bookkeeping system.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd like to see us do away with that. Again, it's the QuickBooks thing. I think we'll check and we'll get back to you. The finance is looking to bring it into our own system, but it's just with all the transition that's been going on with the Treasury Department this year, they haven't got to moving us from the corporation to the county system. So until our books are moved off QuickBooks, then we're keeping the license. So, but once it gets transferred, I'm hoping we can do away with this license. So it might not be all of next year we need to fund this, but we're leaving it in there as a placeholder.
Okay. Any further questions or comments on the draft budget? No? Okay, then I'm going to look at you, Councillor McNaughton.
Thank you. I would suggest that we defer this or refer it back to staff until next month, when they have a little bit of time just to work out any final understanding that needs to go into the budget.
Okay. And I believe Ellis, yeah, and I believe Ellis, you'd mentioned there was some other things that you wanted to make sure we're all included, so. So there's a motion to defer on the floor then? Or refer, well, a motion being made and seconded by Councillor Hirsch. Okay, so have we lost Councillor Grasso? He jumped to the other meeting now? So, okay, just so that I know. Oh, he's still out there okay, all right. It's like watching two hockey games on two different TVs, I suppose. Okay, so then I'll call the motion. All in favor? And that is carried. So next is 7.2, update regarding Disraeli Street Picton site and request RFPs. Back to you, Ellis. You're going to be talking a lot.
Through the chair, this is an update and I guess a continuation of the special meeting that we had. But just to backtrack a little bit, there was a little bit of confusion over the structure of an RFP that would fit within the municipal procurement bylaw, which we need to follow because of the ownership model in particular. And that's been hammered out somewhat. And in the meantime, I was able to track down a subject matter expert in exactly this, community housing construction RFPs. And I'll be meeting with that person whose name escapes me, along with the municipal lawyer and Matt Nestrowski, the purchasing coordinator, to just hammer out the details, particularly having to do with evaluation, because it really comes down to what are the parameters we put around a proponent that comes to us with an ownership model. It's easy enough to say, build something, tell us how much it is. It's quite a different thing to set up an objective evaluation matrix for the ownership model. So that's really what it comes down to. But we expect to have that done fairly soon.
Councillor McNaughton and then Councillor Nyman.
So by fairly soon, are we talking within the next week or so? I think we expected, I think the understanding was we wanted to move very quickly on this, so that to slow us down. I think it's very good to ensure that every caution is taken to make sure that it's the right criteria that we're going to be using to evaluate. But as long as there's some get up and go before a couple of us have got up and went.
Through the chair, it's imminent, yes. What we were really hung up on was the ownership model component and figuring out how to embed that in an evaluation matrix to the satisfaction of the procurement bylaw. So I've got 2 resources that will help me do that, and we're almost there, just about there.
Just as a follow-up.
Yeah.
Where were the areas where it wasn't satisfying the procurement bylaw? There's opportunity within the bylaw for some, for when there are needs for discretionary or for alternate sourcing, for example, but where was it specifically?
Through the chair, it wasn't so much about that level of discretion. It was the fact that we couldn't find. Well, in the RFP process, the evaluation matrix has to correlate with the technical requirements and the mandatory submissions. And because we're trying to create a pretty tight structure around a much broader ask of proponents, it was really around the ownership model that we haven't come up with the language and the evaluation matrix to be able to receive all of the proponents rather than exclude them from the process because they didn't say things properly, which is the hang up that we had last time. So the ownership model could be isn't necessarily tied to the construction costs. We didn't want to make that assumption. They could say, well, we want to do this, but we really only want to own it by 5% or none at all. And we didn't want to lose that as a potential option, or the flip side, we want to own more than that. So how do we
keep the language broad
keep
enough
the language
that it's
broader, but still have a fine enough evaluation matrix to satisfy the procurement bylaw. So it's just not something that the municipality does, or has not yet anyway. I guess this will be the first time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Brad?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, I guess I got a different opinion. I mean, we've already put it out there once, and we got, who we got. So, by putting it out again, are we going to get more? So, but anyways, that's just, to me, we're just kind of prolonging the exercise that we're, could be usefully using that time. So I guess, when do we think, and I know Kate asked this, but I guess, when do we expect it to be out? When do we expect it to be in? And when do we expect to move? So I guess 3 timelines, I guess, that we're looking for.
Could you repeat the 3 things again?
When do we expect it to be out? When do we expect it to close? And when do we expect it to start?
Timelines.
Pardon?
Timelines.
We're From the original timeline, through the chair, it will probably move things ahead 3 to 4 weeks. I should have it done by the end of this week to go to purchasing to have it approved. And since the purchasing coordinator will be at this meeting tomorrow, that should help a lot. And then I think the whole process was, I want to say it was 2 months. And the reason that the delay is really to our favor is because that exact same template we can use not just for Disraeli, but for Wellington, which has implications for the item that we're discussing under close. So we'll be able to, well, we could use this template over and over for any site that we end up part of developing. Through the chair, yes. I think it's 1 month.
Yeah.
My head's a little full.
Okay, so and just, I'm going to follow up on your question because you kind of started to ask what I was going to ask too. Are we going to have results from the RFP by December the 8th, which is our December board meeting?
It's through the chair. It would be unlikely it would be for that. We may have to have a special meeting subsequent.
Okay, that's, yeah, that's what I thought the last time we had a conversation about this. That was so spot on question because that was I recall you saying that we may have to call a special meeting just to deal with the RFP, which I don't think any of us are averse to that because I know I'm in complete agreement with Councillor Nyman. Expedite. We're bureaucracy has killed us for in this process. So if we can correct it and speed it up, absolutely.
Mr. Chair, and we, I think I mentioned, some of you know, we lost our CMHC rep. So we have a new one, and Ellis was going to meet with that person to make sure that because we had sort of started a file on the Disraeli Street project. So we want to make sure that as we're doing this RFP, we're also keeping in touch with our CMHC rep, and so that application is in there and, you know, getting ready for all the bits and pieces that need to go with it. Because we don't want to go through this RFP process and then sort of start an application with CMHC from scratch. We need to have at least a draft pro forma in their system. We need to have that particular representative oriented on our project and be ready for them to hit submit once we have the bits and pieces and Class B estimates and all the different things that we are required to submit, including the audited statements that we just saw today. Yeah. So we want to make sure that we have concurrent processes here to give us the best possible opportunity, because the next risk after the board chooses whether to move forward with one particular design build proponent is the CMHC application and any timelines that may be protracted on their end for these funding applications. So I just want to bring that to your attention that we do have to go through that hurdle, but we'll do that. We'll do our best to make sure they're aware of our project as it comes together, so that we mitigate any delays on the CMHC side.
Okay, and so that would entail a meeting before Christmas, sometime between budget and Christmas. Councillor Hirsch.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and supplementary question, Mr. CAO. Is that the CMHC rep that came and visited here and we actually educated them about the county and now they're gone?
Mr. General, no, that was Annie Lee. I think she's moved to a different department at CMHC. There's a lot of shifting around. This was our rep, our actual local rep that is the one that helps us with the programs. Actually, we have a different rep as well who's in Belleville who helps with general programs. But the person I'm referring to was Pierre, who was our funding program person. So Annie and her team were different yet.
Yes.
Who's the new person? Don't worry about it. It's not like
there's been a lot of.
We're not looking to bribe them or anything.
A lot of people leaving CMHC with the changes in the budget and how they're financing CMHC. Our former rep informed us that and I'm just going to be blunt and say there seemed to be a lot of rats leaving the ship. They were jumping to different departments, and of course, Mr. Gagnon, our former rep, was one of them, unbeknownst to us when he met with us. So, anyways, Councillor Nyman.
Thank you. So, Adam, you mentioned a word that kind of piqued interest. So, the CMHC funding has timelines. So if we get to that stage, how confident are we that we're going to be able to meet those timelines? Do we know what it is that we need to do to get there? You know what I mean? Like, do we have to complete stuff to get there? And how confident are we to meet those timelines?
I think the timelines are sort of up on the basis of how quickly we can pull together the information. But as far as I know, Ellis has delved into the ALCP program more than I ever did. I was always looking at the AHF program. The one thing that I recall being the issue has been the whole time is the Class B estimate, which is what allows them to get closer to what the funding, when they contact their underwriters, what the funding would be. The other issue that we need to deal with and be prepared for is what level of co-investment we need to come to the table with ourselves and where that money comes from. So when we were looking at the AHF program, it was, I believe, a 25% co-investment, and that's why we were unable to really move forward with Disraeli at the time, because we had to come up with $2.5 and $3 million, and we just don't have any way to do that. So if the project comes in considerably less expensive, as Disraeli, we're hoping it will this time, through the modular contractor, hopefully the investment required through the ALCP is quite a bit less. So we'll have to come up with that money somehow, and we'll have that discussion. But otherwise, I believe the ball is pretty much in our court when it comes to submitting all the information that they require, and it's pretty well known through the CMHC requirements what that documentation is.
Yeah, through the chair, the ALCP program, as I understand, is an open call. So if we submit a pro forma, it's a bit of a placeholder and for them in terms of where we fit in their list of people that might be applying. But I mean, there is some urgency just because the ground is shifting a lot with respect to CMHC and Build Canada Homes. So yeah. Well, I'll be sending the pro forma that we sent to Pierre, I'll be sending to her, keeping in mind that the RFP is going out. And I guess the other thing I might mention, I hope, is the case, is that CMHC will be easier to get a Class B estimate if we're using volumetric or panelized modular, because it's all right there, right? So that's in our favor. And when I asked the Berge, the volumetric modular vendor, they already have the energy the two attestations that we require for CMHC. So in terms of, it's really about the pro forma and the RFP process, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So in the end, be prepared for a 48-hour notice on a special meeting for one item. Any further questions with regards to the update on Disraeli Street? No? Okay. Oh, sure, go ahead.
Just the servicing. Is there an update on the servicing? Is that something that is in the budget next month, or how are we dealing with that?
Am I able to disclose what's in the draft budget?
Well,
so it is. So we're having discussions. I've gone through all the capital detail sheets. The servicing is in the budget. And we've had discussions recently, as this morning, about whether it's actual construction work or more of a contribution to us, the corporation, as part of the site works. So the numbers in the budget are, I think, larger than they will need to be, and you and I have had the conversation before, but I want to let the door open to it being a contribution to the site works as part of our development project here, so we don't have to be held to timelines and extra costs for the work to be done by the county's contractor. So it's being structured as a dual, either do the work or give us the money and offset that part of the work for the build. So that would be subject to council's approval, but yeah, I can certainly confirm that it is in the budget, the draft budget.
okay, well, that's good news. Okay, so seeing no further questions, I need a motion that the update Disraeli Street update be received. Mover and seconder, please. Councillors Hirsch and McNaughton. All in favor? That's carried. Next is the 7.3, the action tracker. Any questions with regards to the action tracker? Councilor McNaughton?
Or just, so just wondering if there will be, depending, if as needs evolve, if there will be additional recruitment opportunities, and also training opportunities aren't on the action tracker, so our sort of strategic planning, I think is, I can't remember, yes, or not, but staff training should probably be, member training should probably be added to the action tracker.
In the past, there was an onboarding package, or we'll call it orientation package, but
Added.
yeah.
Just a suggestion to have it in the tracker so that it's there. I mean, I don't think it has to, I think it'll get done anyway, but just good to be clear about it.
So did you want to amend the recruitment category there to make a reference to like just and orientation, new member orientation?
Yeah, recruitment will continue as needed, and orientations will be provided to new members.
Okay. So I think that's just simple direction to the clerk to add that to the action tracker. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Is there anything else off the, no? Okay, then I need you have another question?
Suggestion for the action tracker that that a re-exploration of municipal housing bonds issuance be reconsidered in the new year. That would require a mover and a seconder.
No, but I think that'll all come with the financing options that we're gonna have to consider. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's gonna be a given, that we explore all opportunities, but I'll go to Alice on this one, yeah.
Through the chair, one of the reasons that the RFP was delayed is because I attended the Ontario Nonprofit Housing Conference following that meeting, which is where I got the subject matter expert to talk to. But from that conference, there were a whole number of options that I wanted to bring to the board to consider, including community bonds and community land trusts and so on, just to give the full range of options available. So that can certainly, the fundraising working group is one line at the bottom that talked about land donations and so on. So I could add, or we could replace that with a look at the full breadth of housing options, including community bonds.
Yes, I think that would be suitable, and I think it's very helpful. We do have, I think, one of Ontario's local leads on the issue as well, who could come and present again. I think she's probably presented in the past. No, oh, okay. It would be great to have her come and sort of explain the bones to the new board members at some point, well, new and old. So that just a suggestion to go along with that change.
That sounds like a January item. We don't want to open the fire hose on brand new board members in a December meeting, right? But good point. We'll make sure that that's included. Yeah. Okay. So I need a mover. Still need a mover and seconder for the sorry, not the update. That's the action tracker be received. Updated action tracker. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like Alice is already on top of it anyway. So, but as long as I don't think I need to put a motion on to add it, as long as there's an understanding that this needs to be seriously evaluated.
Yeah. I think we can direct the clerk without, to have it included on there. Yeah.
Through the chair, previously, we have used the action tracker as a motion-based action tracker, so it actually might help once the public come on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Councillor McNaught, Councillor Nyman. I think we all understand what that's intended for, so I'll call the motion. All in favor? Okay, so now I still need a mover and seconder for the tracker to be received. The updated tracker. Councillor McNaught, Councillor Nyman. All in favor? That's carried. Then, of course, we have the meeting schedules, as every committee and board is getting anymore. And I think nothing has changed with regards to our scheduling second Monday of the month. Didn't see any changes.
Just with the election and that. So I'm just wondering about the November and December meeting. I'm not sure.
Through the chair, I think we stuck with those meetings in that even if the councilors aren't elected, well, if we have quorum for those meetings, then we would still have quorum.
Yeah. Well, and for clarity, all board members are there until they're replaced, right? And the December one is the most important one because November, even though technically a council member may not be a council member in the new council, they're not replaced until the inaugural meeting in December. Am I correct in how that would flow?
I didn't think we replaced him at the inaugural meeting, but I don't know. I'm not.
I think clearly you're right. The December meeting needs,
There won't be councillors there.
that just doesn't make sense anymore. Yeah. I see staff thinking, so I'll go to you.
Well, Mr. Chair, I at one point I thought that because the board would be comprised of citizens, that it could still carry on business.
Yeah, that's true.
The new terms of reference through the new bylaw we just approved today said that the board shall be comprised of 2 councillors.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just trying to think in my head, up to 2. So, but with none, they might still be able to have quorum and carry on business. So I think it might be the case.
Okay. Go ahead, Kate. Yeah.
So when we did change the recruitment policies and the appointment policies related to the Housing Corporation, and I would have to go and compare what was done and what we did approve, because I wasn't thinking with that lens, the sort of end of term lens. We did it in a way that we conceived of those changes so that it would be a continuous flow and never break, and that you would have staggered appointments, not block appointments, so that everyone's fresh and new all the time, so that you would have that the capacity, so that the board would have the capacity it needs to bring on new members with the skills they need, et cetera, and that it would be unfettered from the council appointment process. And that's what we did coming into this term, if memory serves, so that it's not the only piece missing would be the councillors, which could be taken care of with some fancy footwork in what we just approved, which could say save and accept these 2 months, or like to keep that moving so that members can continue doing their work as needed.
Else?
Through the chair, I think it's a case of it is what it is. The bylaws say that the Housing Corporation shall have council appointees, but every 4 years, we're going to have to deal with the fact that it's going to be a little dicey every November, December. So, in terms of the functioning of the corporation itself, if there's a quorum of the public members, if there are no councillor members present, then, like we said, that the meetings would continue to run for those 2 dates.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I need a motion regarding the 2026 Statutory and Advisory Board Committee schedule being received. A mover and seconder, Councillor Hirsch, Councillor Grasso. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, so next we have a closed session, so I need a mover and seconder to take us into closed. If you could, please read the motion. You got it in front of you there? Yeah, I need a mover and seconder to take us into closed.
Yep.
Okay, Councillor Nyman, Councillor McNaughton.
Yep.
Oh, just a second, Sam, you've got your hand up?
No, I just want to move it.
Oh, okay, all right. You can second it, there you go.
Okay.
All right,
So
thank
is it Nyman Grasso?
Yeah.
Okay. At the Affordable Housing Corporation now move into closed session to consider personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees related to appointments to the board, a proposed or pending acquisition or deposition of land by the municipality or local board related to Nile Street, Wellington, and a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board related to the Nile Street, Wellington site. All pursuant to section 239 2B, C, and K of the Municipal Act.
I don't believe so.
The rest of it just for information.
The property stuff, yeah, okay.
One moment.
Well, sorry, council doesn't.
Ooh,
It's just us.
we're standing board.
Powerful. When do we have to? When the floor come on, I guess?
Oh, it wasn't quite, are you talking about the transition plan for the current membership, the council membership?
Yeah, the interim,
Yeah, my sense is I think we should, let's wait to see who we have on.
yeah.
Like, we are on the cusp here of doing some great things, and sure, credit where it's due, sort of thing. So my suggestion would be to wait to see, let's onboard the new folks, let's see whether they're filling the gaps that we need in the board, and then decide how to proceed with the rest of the membership. I wouldn't quit right away.
Wouldn't want,
As long as Roy doesn't do a body count and say, oh, geez, 4 years.
No, there's 9 in total then, so we're good, because the max is 10. 11.
Except for the clause,
We're back.
the Roy
live.
clause.
okay, we're back live now. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. So, committee, the Affordable Housing Corporation Board was in closed session, and we have one motion, Councillor Hirsch, coming out of closed session. And I believe your seconder was Councillor McNaughton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, it's a Hirsch-McNaughton motion then, that staff be directed to bring forward a motion in open session, and here we are, to appoint Mark Guzlitz, Hillary Spriggs, Penny Morris, and Edward Elborn to the Prince Edward County Affordable Housing Corporation Board of Directors as public members.
Okay, so duly moved and seconded, all in favor? That is carried, and thank you. So our next meeting is, what did I say, December the
December the 8th, Mr. Chair.
December the 8th. So now I need a motion to adjourn at 2:50. Councillor Nyman, Councillor McNaughton, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you all in about 3 hours.